Welcome to our webinar. The webinar rhymes with Eleanor. Welcome to our webinar today. I'm Nina Newman. I'm the Director of Admission and Financial Access here at King School. We're going to put the spotlight on performing arts. That sounds particularly appropriate. And we're going to tell you all about our program today. I'm going to start by introducing our colleagues who have joined me on the webinar. And then after they give a brief overview of their roles, we'll start to open it up to questions. So Garrett, why don't we kick it off with you?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Garrett Mendez. I am the chair of the music department, K through 12 at the school. So that means I oversee basically everything happening in music, especially on the instrumental side, from the time they enter kindergarten all the way to the time they graduate. In addition, like my main teaching role is that I teach one middle school band, our advanced middle school band, and then I teach in the upper school our concert band and also our jazz combo, along with also teaching singing, songwriting, and also our piano class. That's kind of my main day-to-day job duties.
Thanks, Amy.
Hi, my name is Amy Darnton, and I'm the chair of vocal music and theater here at the school. I've been here since 2001, working in a variety of capacities, including scenic art and production management and middle and upper school theater teaching. Right now, I teach theater in the middle school, and I direct the lower division shows, that being the fifth grade musical and the middle school musical.
I'm Eleanor.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Bach. I teach middle school and upper school choir. There are 3 levels of choir in the middle school: treble 1, treble 2, and then a changing voices combiata choir. And in the upper school, there is upper school choir and a auditioned based vocal solo performance style class. And I also help with the musicals and vocal coach those shows as well.
Thank you. So I'm going to kick it off with some questions, some either coming from the guests or from my own list. And Eleanor, I'm actually going to stick with you for a little bit, and I'm hoping you could tell us a little bit about the philosophy that guides the Performing Arts Department and how it shapes your approach to teaching and learning.
I would say that all of the teachers in the Performing Arts Department are very passionate about our subjects, and that because of that, it becomes infectious with the kids. And our goal, while yes, working on music literacy and developing oral skills and their solo instrument and ensemble work as well, in addition to that, one of our big goals is just to make them lifelong lovers of the performing arts, whether that's sitting on a board of a performing arts place later on in life, or if they participate in a community choir or orchestra or band as they get older, or if they major in music, because we've had many kids go out from King and be members of the performing arts as their avocation and career. So that is our goal, to instill good, solid technique and music skills, but also develop lifelong lovers of the performing arts.
Garrett and Amy, did you have anything to add before I get to the next question?
I might just add in is like, one of our, to what Eleanor was saying, like that lifelong music maker is one of our big themes is showing off that the study of the arts is about studying the human experience and the reflection of culture and society through time. So when we are studying our music, we know some of our students will want to pursue this, and some of them are just wanting to, but like if we're not including the arts into our curriculum at our school, then we're leaving out some really important studies of what it's meant to be human. And so that's a big, all the philosophy that we bring into our studies. And even when we're focusing very specific, like, hey, play this right note, there's a much bigger picture.
Great. Sticking with you for a minute, Garrett, what level of experience do you have to perform in performing arts at King? And how do you meet the needs of our experienced musicians?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, when we start with the youngins, we start them from ground zero with very much, just teaching them fun music games to get that experience. It should be just like you're learning any language. So none experience needed, but like we grow them that way. And then as we have different entry points, obviously in the middle school and the upper school, it's kind of the same thing, really. If you have no experience, we have beginning level courses. So like in the middle school, right, we have first level bands and strings that if you've never played your instrument or you know like one note or an acquire two very little experiences, we have those courses. And then in the upper school, we have, beginning guitar class, beginning piano class. If you had an intro to the theater arts classes. So if you don't have any experience, that's your entry point. Now, for the students who do have experience, is what's beautiful about our program, both in the middle school and upper school, we can place you into the right level. So for example, like, if you come in as a sixth grader, but you've been playing for quite a while, you don't have to begin the beginning ensembles. We can push you into a different skill level. And then I'd say in the upper school, similar is, both in band and choir. Like for the band, we have the more advanced jazz combo group where that's kind of audition based in, and those are for our students who really want to push themselves. And like I know Eleanor, I'll pass that up. She has a vocal arts class. I don't know if she wants to say anything. That's an auditioned in class.
Mhm.
Great. And Amy, how does that relate to theater?
Well, I think for theater in the lower school children, there's a lot of creative dramatics that happens inside the classroom. And it's in preparation for them to be part of the fifth grade musical. Every fifth grader is part of the fifth grade musical. And that's really their first entry point, official entry point in the school. Then in the sixth grade, you can take theater as a major class if it's really something that you're interested in pursuing. Some kids take music during the day and then they perform in the plays after school. So we scaffold. The middle school theater class is scaffolded across 3 years. So you could take it across the 3 years, and your skill set would grow as you're challenged by different age appropriate exercises in each of those classes. In the upper school, you could start with foundations in theater if you were a beginner, if you didn't take it in middle school. And that is a year-long major course. And then after that, you could take studio theater, which, much like choir or band, is a class that you could repeat for your next 3 years. And it also would be scaffolded for you and grow in terms of its challenge. So there are several different entry points for students based on, and we have had, like, most freshmen in the upper school start in the foundations class, but we have had kids come in as ninth graders and go right to studio theater if they've done a lot of work in their middle school years.
It's very King-like to meet kids where they are and challenge and support them depending on where they are in the process. So that makes a lot of sense. Amy, sticking with you for a minute, I guess you spoke a little bit about this already, how the performing arts are woven into the lower school experience. But could you expand a little bit beyond maybe the drama even? Maybe Garrett needs to weigh in terms of the musical
Yes. Yeah. Well,
piece.
Students begin their music education at King in pre-K, right? Students have regular music classes in pre-K through fifth grade that are, the curriculum is rooted in the national standards and it's properly scaffolded. And they focus on developing what Garrett and Eleanor were talking about before. Their lifelong love of making music starts as very little people. And then they also participate and view lower school assemblies where middle and upper school students perform for them. And sometimes we bring in guest artists as well. And then, like I said, every fifth grader participates in the musical, which is sort of the capstone experience in the lower school. And there's also an after school component. Garrett, maybe you'd like to talk about that.
Sure. Again, for students who might have like a deeper level interest or want to try something new, we take total advantage of our after school enrichment programs in the lower school by offering some different courses. And it's changed over different years, but like, right now we have a beginning band thing for fourth and fifth graders. We have a group piano class happening right now for students who want to like explore learning piano in a kind of a group format. It's very much like a private lessons, but since we have a piano studio in the lower school music room, we can kind of offer the class in one big setting, easier to schedule. And then we've tried other things. We've done bucket band classes. We've had a beginning choir, like as an after school enrichment. And so it kind of changes on each year's environment, but it gives those kids with that opportunity to learn more. And we also have the private lesson program that we offer that I think it's available K through 12, but I think most our younger students are definitely ones that take some advantage of taking woodwind and brass and string private lessons. That's open to them.
Great, thank you. Eleanor, can you talk about how we integrate and celebrate performing arts within the community?
Yes. We celebrate all the time. Earlier this month, the choir went down and sang for the Spanish Heritage Month presentation in the lower school. The upper school choir went down. The chamber strings group in the high school also went down and performed at that. They also go out into the community. Many of our groups go to King Cares partner organization, the Long Ridge Nursing Home, and visit with the seniors and provide music for them several times throughout the year. We send singers to another King Cares partner, the B1C. We send singers to sing the national anthem for their annual breakfast that they do. We also, I know Garrett and I were very busy at homecoming, providing music throughout games and functions and just a general, positive vibe around the campus with music everywhere. We had performances at open house. What else have we done? We have in addition to like the impromptu performances, we also have more formal performances, and band, strings, and choir do 2 performances a year. Colin, our strings teacher, also likes to do an informance usually in October for parents and family members or friends to come see what the kids are learning in their first year in strings and how they grow in just the 2 months between that October to the December performance. We also have multiple plays and musicals throughout the year. Upper school does a fall play and a spring musical. We have a very active King Theater Society, which was our drama club previously, and the wonderful teacher there has been bringing in people for master classes and breaking things out of just a classroom format, which is nice. And my 7th and 8th grade girls choir went down and did some Halloween spooky song caroling last week to the little kids, to pre-K.
And I know it's not tied specifically to your department, but I think when the faculty musicians perform, that's always a big hit and a way to remind kids that performing arts can be part of your life forever, regardless of whether it's your chosen career. So I think that's always fun too.
And there's a rock club that the kids have started, and they meet, and there's a lot of adults that join in and jam with them. And Project Music is another organization that a lot of King students participate in too, which Garrett can speak more about.
Yeah, why don't we do that right now, Garrett, if you don't mind?
Sure. Yeah, Project Music is an after-school music program for students in the whole Stanford area that wouldn't typically have access to high-level music education. And so it's its own nonprofit, but King Cares and our King community has been part of it for years and supporting it. And we now host it up on campus here for basically 5 days a week after school, so students get bused here. And we have multiple ways that King students participate. One, the upper school students help run the homework club and game club, so they're there like helping them when they arrive, get snack and do homework. We also have some students from time to time come in and help mentor some of the younger beginning students. And then it's a nice cool effect is like, because it's an opening welcome campus, Project Music and stuff, there are a handful of King students who participate in the after school programming and come and get it. That's another way for those students who want to do something even more and keep kind of diving into a deeper way, that they're getting, extra hours into the program. So, and then part of that was that we end up hosting basically now it's almost a national wide, at least you can say whole East Coast. We have a big music residency in the beginning of April. We call it the El Sistema residency, where we have students from all over from the Northeast, from Boston all the way down to Florida, that come here to learn about each other. We learn about each other's lives through making music, and we had over 200 students from around the country, and 200 students total with King student stuff working together and making music together. It's a really beautiful thing to see.
One thing I love about it is, as we try to teach our kids about the importance to giving back to the community, I think it's nice that they can share their gifts, whatever they are, and there's not one way to give to the community. I just think it's such a young age for them to be able to really understand the impact that they can have. Thanks for sharing that. Garrett, sticking with you, could you talk a little bit about how we prepare students who might want to pursue performing arts degrees in college?
Yeah, so I think, was this our third year? I think that we've created a distinction program. We have multiple distinction programs in the upper school where you can really kind of focus on your interest at a higher level. And we created one in the music department for two reasons. One, to honor students, obviously, who have a passion for being in the music, and so they can get recognized that way. But also for the students who really do think that this is something to pursue. We wanted to create a curriculum help design to put them in, because the college process is so very different than the normal college process. It's so audition based and portfolio based. Yes, your grades always matter no matter what, especially when it comes to financial aid. But it's really about that audition. So we've taken you through. So we have a curriculum once we've kind of identified who wants to pursue that distinction and interested. We take them through that curriculum, and some of that curriculum is core elements, obviously, that they need. On the music side, it's about taking music theory, piano classes and stuff that are core classes. I know on the theater side, we've got requirements based on how many shows they should be in and the different acting classes that they should participate in. And then when we get to their senior, we call it, like their senior capstone project really is about the audition process. And for example, I'll let Eleanor actually kind of speak to it. Right now, we've got at least one student applying for music schools. And so as faculty, we help through that process because we're very experienced at it. We went through it. So I'll let Eleanor mention that briefly if she wants.
This is my fourth year at King. For the last 3 years, we have had at least 1 to 2 students each year apply either for straight theater or musical theater programs and go on to do that in college. We hope that those kids are usually in a lot of our classes and also participating in things outside of school. They usually will come to us for help with songs, picking monologues, and working on getting ready to record their videos. Some of them have recorded their stuff on campus in our dance room. It has beautiful acoustics and a really nice backdrop. And so we just recorded last weekend our senior that's wanting to apply to schools for musical theater. And so it's really nice to see them go from when she was a freshman to the growth that she has made now as a performer and as a person and a musician and singer, and see that full growth, which has been really nice. But we are happy to help kids if this is their passion. And usually those kids are involved in all of our shows and in all of our classes.
And I know from the student perspective, they feel indebted to the faculty mentors that, you all played such an active role in helping them with that process and really supporting them and encouraging them. I think it means the world to them to know that they have that support, both professionally, as you prepare them for those auditions, but also in terms of morale and just giving them that boost of confidence.
Yeah. We did maybe 2 weeks ago, we did a Zoom with someone who works in college musical theater admissions, and the kids did a Zoom Q&A, and it was fun to see freshmen that are at the beginning of this thought process that may or may not end up there by their senior year as they grow as people, but but to see that the questions that they have and to interact and it was really lovely.
Thanks, Eleanor. Amy, can you talk a little bit about how students might think about, I'm thinking here about middle and upper school students balancing performing arts with athletics or maybe other extracurricular activities?
Yes, yeah. And it's a thing, right? It's a thing. And we've spent a long time developing a really good relationship with the athletics department, first of all. And our goal is that the students know that the coaches and the administrators and the directors are all on the same page, right? That we're working together. So our overall goal is that no child should feel stuck in the middle and, you know, be short-circuiting because they're being told they have to be in two different places at the same time. And to facilitate that in the middle school, it's a little simpler because the sports practices happen during the last period of the school day. And so it's just the games that happen after school. So when a student, and because every student in the middle school participates in all 3 sports seasons in some way or another, every kid who auditions for a play is also in a sport of some kind. So I collect all of their information and I basically play this wild game of Tetris to form a rehearsal process that takes into account the games that they're playing. And then during the tech week, the week leading up to performance, there's one day where we rehearse in the morning and they all play a million games after school. But then the other days of the week, there's no games scheduled in that week so that the kids can just come to rehearsal. So that works really well in the middle school. In the upper school, the process is a little more complicated because the practices and the games both happen after school, which is at the same time that the theater practices happen. So we have a theater and athletics participation handbook that we've developed to be really clear with families about what the protocols are and what the student responsibility is if they want to play in a sport and be in the show in the same season. And that is possible. There are some realities to it that if you are, if you're the captain of the team, you're not going to get the lead in the play. If you are, if you want to play both, it's entirely possible that you will have a smaller role and have less playing time. Do you know? So there are some realities that a person who wants to do both has to face. It's not seamless. But we do have a good working relationship with the coaches, and we have a system that we use to approach the athletic department once we have a cast list so that we can identify who's playing and get with those coaches. And the students are required to do some reporting every week so that they understand they have a role to play in developing their own schedule. And some students, because in the upper school, students are required to play only one season of sports a year. And so a student who's really dedicated to the performing arts might decide to play a spring sport because our fall show, our play is in the fall and our musical's in the winter. And we put the musical in the winter because that's the season that has the fewest sports. So we, you know, I think we've done everything that we can do to be clear and create a balance and create a possibility for a student to do both in the same season, as long as we're all on the same page about the realities of that situation.
I love the way you talk about not making the student, putting the student in the middle, really setting clear expectations. This is how it works. And we're all gonna
Yes.
do our best to support it. And it's not always gonna be clean, but
Oh, right.
it's gonna,
There are sometimes kids who will audition and they want to be in the play, but then they just realize that they can't manage the play and a sport and their academics in one season.
yeah.
You know, so there's always, so people learn as they go along.
I always say, King, you can do everything. You just can't always do everything at the same time. You might have to decide, okay, this year I'm going to do it this way. Next year I'll try it that way.
Right.
Thank you so much. Um, and I think that was all that I had prepared. Our audience was a little quiet today, but maybe that's because we really covered a lot of ground. Do any of the three of you had anything that you wanted to cover that we didn't get to, or did we do pretty well?
I guess the only thing that I would say is that a thing that I think we all share and believe, and as Eleanor started out saying, we're very passionate about, is that the world needs performing art.
Mm.
Humans need performing art because, as Garrett mentioned, it's really where you learn how to be human. The
Mhm.
theater is a study in human interaction. And so there are so many important social, emotional skills that are taught in the performing arts, along with all of the technical skills about a specific discipline. But I cannot think in all of my years here of another arena in which a child can grow as deeply and come to know themselves and come to know other human beings as well or as deeply as they do in the performing arts.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Eleanor, Garrett, and Amy. If you want to follow up with any of the three of them or other members of our performing arts faculty, please email the admission office. We'd love to connect you with them. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
So long.
Thank you.